When you do nothing, nothing happens. Best time to take action is now. This is the time to work on you and your business. So I've created a group, an online academy for professionals and entrepreneurs. Power Partners will help you to start helping yourself.
Helped me change my life and my business.
Not a Toastmasters, it's not a BNI, it's not any of these, but it is. So it's all this stuff in one place.
Get the results that you deserve right now. So what are you waiting for? Let's make it happen. See you in Power Partners.
My body becomes like a cement. Oh my God.
That was the better one. The song
Okay. Oh my God. It's like magic. Literally like magic.
My name is Serena Buffalino. I am the founder of Help Heal Humanity. My career started off as a special education teacher. When my students found out that there were kids in this world that did not have the right to go to school, inspired them. The concept behind the Haiti School Building Project was a small handful of youth in Toronto would help a small handful of youth here in Haiti. The Haiti School Building Project finally opened up last year, September 2018. It has successfully been running for 7 months now, and what I have seen is nothing shy of beautiful. One person with the support of others can literally transform the planet.
How are you doing this morning, Miss Barbara Beckley?
Good morning, Miss BB. The first BB. I'm putting you as the first B.
Depending on the day, either one of us can be first.
Well, you're first today.
I'll be first today.
You're first today. So how you doing, lady queen?
I am just doing really well because considering last week I was a little bit less than my stellar upbeat, because just one of those days. But we all have them. But you know what? I think the statistic that I shared that is on, and for anybody, any given day, out of 365 days, the average person wakes up grumpy 300 days. Well, last week it was my grumpy day. And it was like but you know what? But then the thing is how to get over it. So that's what we talked about. So if you haven't listened to last week's show, go back and listen to what things that you can do to get over being grumpy.
Yeah, and I didn't really notice that you were grumpy. I mean, you were giving some good tips, and
well, they were for me because I was telling myself what to do.
So we always start with us, right? With ourselves, right?
When we're talking about stuff. The biggest thing is you have to start with yourself because you cannot possibly give to anyone else what you don't have yourself. So, and that's one of the things that I love about this show is that sometimes, we talk about the things that we need to hear for ourselves.
Yeah. And then it's funny because then all of a sudden it's like, wow, I think somebody else might need this because if I'm dealing with it, I know some other people are probably dealing with it too.
Exactly. And so that's the point of it. So that's why I was like, all right. So if you're having a grumpy day today, go back and listen to last week. It was
every time I'm on this show, I can never, no matter how, if I'm having a grumpy day or whatever, I get on the show and talk to you. It's like, okay, what was grumpy about? What was I upset about?
Right. So today.
Well, okay, before we say today, because some people are just chiming in, just want to welcome everybody to the Time to Shine Happiness Show.
And here, of course, is Tripod.
And our, what I always say, what they have like on the games, they have I can't even get the word out of my head. I'm always talking about Tripod. Mascot. He's our mascot. So Tripod is our mascot, so you will see him time to time.
Yeah,
so don't be surprised if you see him when Barbara's talking and getting into conversation.
It's my chin.
Yeah, but I just want to welcome everybody to our show. We come on every Tuesday, 8:00 Central Time. I know I had to do the Eastern Time, people, because it seems like that's the other main thing. 9:00 Eastern Time. And we're here with the lovely Miss Barbara Ellis, and she's the first BB today. She's a transformational life trainer. And Barbara, we always say we need to do our intro. So tell them just a little bit about you first, and I'll tell them a little bit about me.
Okay. Yeah. And that's true because we don't do, and I have been neglecting of doing that. Yes. As Barbara said, I'm a transformational life trainer. I'm on a mission to make happiness the norm rather than the exception. The thing is that one of the things that I'm really finding is that so many people have no idea of who they are outside of their job title or job description. Who are you within what you do? And the thing is, so many of my people now are coming up to retirement. And if they don't know who they are outside of their job title, they don't make the transition into retirement well. And statistically, many baby boomers are coming out into the retirement, and they're either drifting into drugs, alcohol, or suicide because they're not making the transition well. And because you can only sit, like, oh, I'm not going to have any schedule. Well, that does not last. It doesn't last. And then all of a sudden, you're looking around for something to fill the void. What are you going to turn to? So that's where I come in. So I'm excited about it. Just all sorts of new things are happening, of just being able to take people from their mindset into mind flow.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, it's so much needed, Barbara. And the more, when I met you and you told me what you were doing, and I was like, wow, this is a bigger deal than what I even thought. I mean, statistics and everything shows that, after, either going to retirement or in retirement, that transformational has to be there, and somebody needs to be there to help them through that other bridge. I call it another bridge of life.
Exactly.
That they're going into. And like you said, you can't, I mean, for a while you can say, oh, I had no schedule, Right. But then that kind of fades a little bit, because now you got to find other, means and kind of things to do and all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Which is where you come in. Like, you talk all the time about having purpose, passion, and drive.
Yeah.
You must have that after you quit work. Retirement has been given a bad name. Retirement is not retirement. You are not you are retiring from work. You are not retiring from life.
Oh, that's good, Barbara. Oh, that's good.
So find what gives you life.
Purpose, yeah, your purpose.
What gives you purpose? What gives you passion? Mm-hmm. I mean, and it doesn't matter what it is. I mean, I've talked many times about, I don't care if you're a dog walker. If you like to do that, then go do it. It doesn't matter what the what is.
Yeah.
It's the why are you doing it? What is it fulfilling within your soul?
So yes.
What makes your heart sing?
Pump.
What?
Yeah. And so what Barbara just kind of introduced me in a sense. Yeah, I am a purpose, visibility, and social media strategist. And my biggest mission, like Barbara has her mission, is to understand that especially every woman, I'm drawn to women because of my backstory about, I didn't know I had a purpose. In fact, people were telling me when I was growing up younger that, I wasn't going to be anything, that I know why I'm on this earth. So I told myself I didn't want anybody thinking the same way I was, or even if people were saying that in their ear, in their mind, that don't let that penetrate in your brain and in your soul. But because everybody has a purpose. If you're on this earth, I always tell people, if you are born,
if you're breathing,
have a purpose.
And if you're still breathing,
you have a purpose. And then at that point in time, I take them, I say, okay, once we find that out, we got to let you shine. Like I always say, the diamond factor, we got to give you that visibility. So I help in that area. And then I always figured out that social media, well, I used to call it a jungle. Then I call it, no, you just have to be a strategy about it. Let's not do the negative. Yeah. And then I help women in that area too. Right. So this is what we do. And we both came together. We're co-hosts for this show. There's a background story for that too.
And there is.
but the main thing is, let's just put it like this. Barbara is so glad that she listened really closely to Miss Barbara over here, that she really listened. And you know what? I'm saying that because I want to get a little bit into, because I know we always have certain topics we talk about. But one topic that's been really, really gnawing on me this week is active listening. So that kind of went into, how I got on the show as a co-host with you, because I was kind of basically fighting it at the beginning, saying, no, Barbara, this is your show. This is all about you. I just want you to get your visibility, show you how awesome you know how I am. I just really, because I really believe in who you are, and I want you to be out there, and under the network. Yeah. And you were like, well, I said, I don't mind doing it, Barbara, but I can't do it with just, I need a partner in crime here. And she asked me.
You were the first and only person I thought of.
Yeah. I was like, out of everybody Barbara knows and everything and all of the people, she asked me. And I was like, okay. I said,
And then you were going to quit on me.
little did she know I was going to go stage left. Little did she know I was going to go stage left, and then she'd be like, bye-bye, there's Barbara Ellison. And then after we did a few shows, I was like, I don't know. I don't want to go nowhere.
I like doing this. Exactly.
So now it's been like 2.5. Well, I don't know.
2.5 years.
2.5 years.
Here we are.
But going back to active listening, to really listen to what's going around you and taking that in, and just don't make those, quick, sometimes you talk yourself out of things, or listen to people to the point where you're not really listening into what you need in your life. Because I found out this week, it is so important not just to listen to your inner voices there, but also listen to others, because you don't know what they might be crying out about.
Right.
Because mental illness is real. I keep telling people it is real. And when somebody, starts not acting the way they usually act, or say a word or say something, and if you don't catch it, you might miss something that they might be really going through something really deep.
Yeah. And
then you're not hearing from them. Then you're trying to figure out, okay, what's going on? And then you come to find out something really was serious. Right. So yeah, the listening part for people, listen, and don't be cutting people off. Listen to what they have to say, because you never know.
Yeah, exactly. And it can be something just as easy as, like, I'm a cut and paste girl. Just cut and paste. And I have a little meme that it says thinking of you.
Oh.
Cut and paste. When that person comes into my brain, cut and paste. And you wouldn't believe how many times it's like, oh, thank you. It was just what I needed. It's a little smiley face thinking of you.
Yeah.
Because I was. Their name came into my brain for a reason. But it doesn't have to be a long, drawn out phone conversation. So if I really, right at that moment, can't really take a lot of time, that's what I'll do. It's a cut and paste.
Yes.
Thinking of you.
And I'm so glad
you talk later.
And I'm so glad you said that, Barbara. See how the little things, like they said, less is more. And that's what you're showing. That's what the idea that you're showing is, you can just do a cut and paste to 10, 15 people. Cut, paste, you're done. But see, in your mind, you took the time out just to do that much. Yeah. And people appreciate, believe me, you don't think people appreciate, they really do. Sometimes they might not say it, but they show it in other ways. And believe me, you never know. When I get a text from Barbara, if she's just saying, hey lady, or whatever, that really makes my day. That really makes my day.
It
always comes at the right time too. It's really interesting. It does. It always comes at the right time of the day, or what's going on.
Exactly. Well, the thing is, and this is totally off tangent, but this is what we need to talk about. I am a firm believer that you talk about the things that you're supposed to talk about. We are all connected. We are all, and whether you agree with the cosmic consciousness or not, we are all part of the collective. We are all energetic beings. They have proven it, that energy goes in waves or little round dots. The little round dots are your negatives. The waves are the positives. Well, the waves go out. Well, guess what? Sometime you might be out in the same wave. And that's when you think of somebody, because they've got their wave out there for some reason. When somebody pops into your brain, that's when you take action. And it can be that 10-second cut and paste.
Yeah.
Thinking of you. Talk later.
I like
have a couple of different memes. Thinking of you. Or I have one with a kitten. And I think I've sent it to you. The little kitten under the blanket. It says, just checking in.
It's a little kid. It's so cute. I was like, Barbara, where she get these little pictures from? But yeah, it was cute. I was like, oh, look at that. You're thinking of it. But yeah.
For the little things that, because those are the things that we do think about for people.
Yeah.
Gee, how are you? But you don't have time to have a 20-minute conversation. Okay, but you can write a cut and paste for 1 second.
Yeah.
3 seconds.
Yeah. You take that time out. And like you said, I mean, if you cut and paste for 10 people, that's probably what, 2 minutes? That's not even that long. So when you really think about it, I mean, and then sometimes you got to really look at your time. Like, okay, if you can't take 2 minutes to just do that little cut and paste to say hello, how you doing, little kitten, whatever. But you take time doing other things that might not be really productive. I'm just going to say it like that.
And one of the things, I'll give you a little tip here. If sometimes you can be intentional and say, okay, I am going to take 5 minutes right now to just reach out to somebody. Scroll on your phone of past messages. Wherever it lands, that's the person you send it out to.
That's good. Yeah.
You never know.
Yeah.
And do that for 5 minutes. Scroll for it a couple of times. Oh, send that one. Scroll, that one. Oh, scroll, that one.
Yeah.
It is so important. It makes you feel good.
Yeah, and it makes a really big difference in somebody else's life. Another thing I've been doing a really good practice on too, Barbara, talking about listening and really just taking that action at that time because it's needed, is if somebody asks me to pray for them.
Yes.
If they say, Barbara, can you pray for me? I said, okay. I used to say, okay, I'll pray for you. But as soon as they tell me, I stop at that moment and say, okay, let's do it right now.
Right now.
When I go into prayer. Because as soon as you get off the phone or you don't see them or whatever, most of the time, Barbara, you tend to go doing other things and then you didn't do the prayer. Yeah.
You're distracted. So let's do it right now. Yeah. And I have done it on calls. I have done it in Walmart.
Yeah.
Let's just
do it. Yeah.
Do it.
Yeah. Because like I said, everybody has different faith. And like I said, we're not, I'm not saying they're different. Everybody, I believe in Jesus. I believe in God. I know Barbara, she's Christian. Yeah. So we're not, let's just say we are open of our beliefs.
Right.
So I like what you said when you said to have to do it on the phone, do it in Walmart. If you're open with your beliefs, then you don't mind doing it where you need to do it because that person needs it at that point in time if they ask you to pray.
Yeah.
So that's just
right. And
right away.
Yeah. And you can, and if somebody doesn't ask you to pray for them, just say, but people talk about what's going on in their lives. They really are. And if it's a hardship, hey, and all I preface it with is that, you know what, sweetie, whoever, it's usually a woman. You know what, sweetie, I'm a woman of prayer. Would you like me to pray for you right now?
Yeah.
They're either going to say yes or no.
Yeah.
If they say no, okay, fine. I do it in my head because they can't.
I was about to say that. Sometimes when people say, no, that's okay, I'd be like, you know what? I feel like they just pray in my head.
I just pray in my head.
So you do what you have to do. I mean, I know, sometimes people fight it. And especially, and then if somebody comes to your mind, like you just said, if somebody comes to your mind and it's real strong, right? And I know we go through this. We both go through it. A lot of people, especially people with faith, and if it's really strong in your mind, that's when you really just have to I stop and say, okay, I need to pray for this person because there's a reason why
something's going on.
Yeah, something is right there, center in my brain with them.
Yeah, and you don't have to know what it is.
No, See, that's when people get nosy. It's like you don't have to get nosy to pray for somebody. Just pray, and God's working it out. He's the one that's the ultimate, the one, the only. He knows all knowing. Yeah. Let him do his job.
Let him
do his job. And I would say that. So this goes back to listening, the act of listening. Exactly. And it's so important. The communication, we always talk about communicating with people and being able to communicate. Well, part of that the biggest communication is listening.
Exactly. That's why we have 2 ears and only 1 mouth.
I always say that. I always say that to people. There's a reason
why I'm guilty of it. I have been we've all been guilty of, and then we miss it and go, oh, how did I miss that?
I know, it's like, oh my God. I said, oh, because I was talking too much. I would say that.
Or I was wrapped up in my own thoughts.
Thoughts,
and
yeah.
not listening.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so important. And I think one of the biggest things is just be present.
Mm-hmm.
Be present. And okay, I'll give you a tip of how to get present with someone.
Okay.
So when you first sit down with someone, look at their eyes. And so many people feel uncomfortable making eye contact. It's not a strong suit. So what you can do is just look at the shape of their eyes and the shape of their eyebrows. And just for like a couple of seconds, just look straight at and it will make you connected. And then if you want to take it a little step further, look at the color of their eyes and notice exactly what color their eyes are. And it'll only take you a couple of seconds to do that. But it makes the connection.
Be like, okay, let's see. Yeah. And I know a lot of people, it's funny you say that because I notice a lot of people, some people have problems with eye contact. Because it's like they look here, there, and everywhere. And I know sometimes, especially if you're studying speaking and body language and all that, a lot of times if people can't really just look, they'll use that in a negative way. They'll say, well, if they can't look at you, if they can't look in your eyes or whatever, they're hiding something or they don't want to say something. And I tell some people, I said, it could be just nervousness.
It's exactly.
Everybody's not in that, okay, I'm just going to look right at you, eye contact. But, some people use it as a negative when people don't do that. I mean, and sometimes it does mean that.
And sometimes it is.
You know, but a lot of times, some people say, Barbara, I'm just not used to, just like,
to it.
Doing that. And I was like, it's a practice. It's for me to practice.
Thank you. Exactly. It's practice.
Yeah.
Well, the next time you sit down with somebody, just look at their. And see, the thing is, sometimes you can look at something without really looking at it.
That's another thing. It's a little trick.
It's a little trick. So that's why you can look at their eyebrows. If you don't feel comfortable looking directly into somebody's eyes, because the eyes are the windows of the soul.
Yes, and that's when
notice the shape of their eyebrows. And I mean, funny things. Notice if they, especially on women, if they need their eyebrows plucked, or if they, you can notice anything.
Okay, I get what you're saying, but I don't want people. How sometimes you get caught up in that part, and then you be like, "When are they going to pluck their eyebrows?" Maybe I should tell them. Should I tell them? You don't want to get caught up in that.
You don't want to get caught up in that, but it can be something that funny though, for that split second, and it's only a split second.
Yeah, like you said, make it a split second because you can get all caught up in that.
Right. Oh, yeah. It's like watching some of the cat videos. I love cat videos, but they're addictive.
Yeah, you can start scroll. I mean, you look at all these, and all of a sudden it's like 30 minutes past.
And all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, where did the last half hour go?
Oh yeah, or sometime the hour. I'm just telling on myself sometimes.
Yeah, but it makes you. But if you need it, do it, because you know what. Mental health is so
real. I keep saying it is real.
Mental health is so important. And if it makes you feel better to watch cat videos, then do it.
Yeah.
If it makes you laugh. If it makes you laugh. Yeah.
If it makes you laugh. Well, we're going to go right into our guest that we have today, Annie.
She's got a fun story.
Annie Michelle Ward. And just a little bit about her. She's a business owner, a life you love, helps driven professionals over the age of 50 prepare for retirement. So that they can have a purpose-driven life without financial stress. It's funny how we just started talking about subject about purpose and people over retirement, and it's going right into our guests. We just flowed right into that. Wow.
I tell you, there's synergy.
That's the synergy. I wasn't even thinking. And all of a sudden, I was looking at her bio. I was like, oh, wow, we're connected.
We're connected. We're all connected. And she's got a great story. Well,
before we bring on this wonderful, I was called Lady Queens, Miss Annie Michelle. we have to make sure that we do, our sponsors a little bit love. So let's give our sponsor a little bit love, and we'll be right back.
Yes, give us some love.
Give some love. I like saying that. Hello, Miss Annie Michelle. Can you hear us?
I can hear you. Hello.
Hello. And wait a minute. You're calling because we're global now. I'm about to say, you're calling from Africa?
No, I'm calling from Bocas del Toro, Panama.
Oh my God. Woo, look at that. Global. I always like that when we bring guests that are global, I get excited.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, that means our show is global, that people are seen around the world, and we love that because it's all about time to shine happiness. And we have, you as a queen, as I call Lady Queen. So you'll hear me say that throughout the conversation. But welcome.
Yes. Hello, everyone.
Hello. So let's get a little bit, because we want to make sure we hear a little bit about you, what you do, lady, and kind of get in conversation about that, and then go from there.
Well, you were just talking about purpose, and everyone functions better when they have a purpose. Wouldn't you agree?
Totally.
And some people get a little lost and they don't know what their purpose is, and other people, go right for it. My sister, she knew that she wanted to be a veterinarian from the time she was 13 years old. She had that purpose. She finished high school. She went to vet school. She became a vet, I, on the other hand, didn't really know what I wanted when I was young, and searched around for a while, I was kind of adventurous and had a wanderlust. So I hooked up with friends and family and would travel around the United States back in that time. But at any rate, what I do now is I help people to gain a purpose if they are passionate about inner work, because the company I work with right now produces life-transforming digital courses that work on personal development. And they also hold live events similar to what Tony Robbins does around the world to also empower people. So that's how I discovered this purpose for myself, that I would help other people find their purpose in life.
And isn't it so important? Because I love the fact that when you say you work with people that are over 50, so often I have found that people, it's like, well, I'm too old to do that. You're never too old to do something new.
You are so right. You are never too old to do something new. That's what keeps you young. Right. My mother used to say, age is just a number. We feel the same inside. So it's all up here, what you think up here, what you can do and what you can't do.
Yeah. Yes. It goes back to that mindset, like Barbara always talks about, in mind flow, like you said, Barbara, right, where you have to have it, it starts here to get into your soul and your spirit to say, yes, you know what, why, if I keep saying how old, I'm so old, I can't do it, I'm so old. Well, yeah, it's going to penetrate. And then you're going to be thinking how old you are and thinking you can't do anything. But like you said, you have to have that purpose of who you are, know who you are, what you're trying to do, and then go from that point.
Exactly. And I love working with people 50 plus because they're often in transition, either from work or a relationship, or their kids are grown, or all kinds of things that are put you in transition, especially in this economy, right? With COVID and so many people are just in transition. So helping people through that transition with less stress is worthwhile for me.
And I was going to say, Annie, Michelle, that it's really important too, because just you mentioned about, okay, we're talking about, COVID, other things. Life changes all the time.
All the time.
And it's really important, like you said, to help people get through that transformational. I mean, people over 50 and just all ages, but
anybody, but
it really helps over 50, because sometimes we start, if we're not working, we're not doing certain things anymore or whatever, we need to have that help to kind of see us through.
Yeah. Well, last night I was talking with Barbara and
Carol
about the upward spiral and the downward spiral, right? And so you need to focus on being in the upward spiral, learning new things, opening your mind, and not closing down and contracting for the downward spiral.
Right. And it's every day we have the choice of doing that.
Yes.
Every day is a new day.
Sometimes every hour.
and sometimes every minute.
I see one people be like, going for 1 hour, woo. Next hour they're like, I was like, wait, what happened?
What happened?
That's one of the neat things about these courses. It gives you tools. So if you are feeling a little bit low, you would just pull out one of your emotional tools and use it to get back up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's why I would tell people, have those tools around you, because you never know when you go to, you be like, woo, woo, woo.
Like one of the things I like to do to raise my vibration is to think of something that's a favorite of mine, like a favorite dessert, right? My favorite dessert is ice cream. So what happens when you think about eating ice cream, right? You feel good.
Yes.
And it's so simple, and that raises your vibration. Did you feel that?
Yeah, because when you said it, before you said it, I was thinking about ice cream.
I love ice cream.
I love
Who
ice cream.
doesn't love ice cream?
I said, wait a minute, how did Michelle know I was thinking of ice cream? Yeah.
I mean, and it's just, and it is absolutely so true that that one little thing can raise your vibration, even if it only raises it like a couple of degrees. But that's the start.
Yes.
And when you think of one positive thing,
another follows. Exactly.
Follows.
Exactly. And that's how you get the whole spiral thing going.
Yeah.
But I always ask people, and this is a question for you and both you wonderful queens, is that it's so easy to do this to downward, it seems like, for people real quickly, but then we seem like we have to do the extra to get to the upward. Why do you think it's like that? And it's like, well, why you just, it's so easy to go down? Why?
The reason I think, in my opinion, I think it's easy to go down because we've created habits in our lives around that. And that when we were born, we weren't like that. Babies don't do that. They learn that from their surroundings. So you just have to go back to that kind of innocent state of when you were a child and everything was a wonder and everything was new. And you can get back on an upward spiral. And changing a habit just takes awareness first that you have the habit, and then making a plan of how you want to change it, replacing that negative habit, shall we say, with a positive habit. And after, they say, 21 days, then it gets easier and easier. It just becomes natural to you.
And one of the learning statistics is that it takes 3 positives to offset 1 negative.
Oh, really?
Wow.
Yeah. 3 positives to offset 1 negative. So when you catch yourself, but it's the negatives, they go down really quickly. What's wrong with me? Well, and then your brain will give you all the reasons of what's wrong with you.
Yeah.
So that's why the spiral down is so fast. And so you can go from the height of euphoria to the depths of despair down.
Yeah.
But to bring it up, to find, like for me, what I do with people is find out what's the underlying feeling. What's that underlying feeling? Okay. So now tell me 3 things that will change that feeling. Do you like to dance? Do you like to whatever? Do you like to do this? Like for me, when I'm feeling down, I literally put on Chubby Checker and I do the twist.
Okay.
Turn on the music and
Yeah, that works.
and, and do the dance, because the first part that you were absolutely, and Michelle, you were absolutely right. The first thing is awareness, but then you need to follow that awareness with an action.
Absolutely.
So if you're going to follow, so why not follow it with two actions? Turn on music and do a dance. And
so simple, but it works.
So simple, but it works. And you might have to do it
many times.
12 times in an hour. Okay, do it.
Well, you know, the interesting part, what Annie Michelle brought up, I was thinking, is when she said, you know, when we were younger, you know, we were all carefree. We were doing, I mean, we were curious, we were happy, we were just go lucky and everything. And then we start, you know, like you said, growing, getting older. And then all of a sudden from that point, how do we went from there? Now it's harder for us to get in that like happy zone or what have you. And like you said, it's the teaching of it. So if the teaching was there to get us to that point, we had to teach ourselves to get back to that other point, you know, to getting to that higher level in our life.
Yeah, we have to remember who we were as kids.
Yeah. So we weren't born into thinking negative. I mean, we weren't a baby and like, oh, I just hate myself. That wasn't coming out of our mouth.
Didn't come along until you were 7 or 8. That's when neural pathways start cementing.
And then it doesn't help when you got other people. That's why it's so important to be around people, children, you know, adults that's positive, because that's going to help with that. But if you have people saying, yeah, you are stupid, or yeah, you are this and that, then that just, you know, makes it even heightened. It heightens it even more.
Yeah. Well, you know, when we're small, we don't always have a choice who we're around. We're around our parents and our family, and that may be positive, and that may be a combination of positive and negative. But when you're an adult, you have the choice, and you can make choices to, you know, anything that's not good for you or toxic for you, you can eliminate out of your life. That's a choice you make. And then you move yourself towards the positive.
And I'm glad you said that, because a lot of times when I'm, you know, coaching or talking to individuals, and they're like, well, I don't know why I feel this, da, da, da. And I was like, okay, from the age of 1 to maybe, like you said, 7, 8, 1 to 12. Okay, you probably didn't have a choice, but now you're 30, 40 years old.
Yeah.
You can make these choices now to say, I don't want to be around this, or I don't want to concentrate on this. So, you know, I kind of get them to thinking that this is not something that you have to be a part of. This is something that you can make a choice and say, no, I don't want this to be a part of my life, because I want to be, you know, in another zone. I want to be happy. I want to be fulfilled.
Yeah.
You know,
and that's how you direct your life to one that you love.
Yeah, right. And that's ice cream with the cherry on top.
A little ice cream.
It is the littlest thing, you know, the little things.
But Barbie, Michelle, short version. How did you get to living in Panama? This is
yes.
I'll try to do the short story. You know, I always was attracted to warm weather. I got cold easy, and my lips turned blue, and you know, I couldn't get warm no matter what in the winters, and I never liked winter and always wanted to live in a warm place. And so as an adult, you know, I started traveling. I also had this wanderlust and started traveling almost exclusively just to warm beaches, so I could feel that and be in that. And I decided that, you know, someday I was going to have my little place in the sun where I could just be warm all the time and enjoy the warm weather and the blue Caribbean Ocean. I wanted to live in a house over the sea. Ooh. And there's not a lot of places in the world where you can actually build a house over the sea. Panama is one of them.
Wow.
And I traveled, you know, I had to create the abundance to be able to make a life here. So I had to evolve through my businesses. I had different businesses. The last business that I had before the company that I have now was a real estate franchise. And I also invested in real estate on the side. So I was able to save up some money and be able to have a little nest egg to purchase something when I did find the right thing. And I was single between marriages for 10 years, and my girlfriend and I would travel together, and we traveled all over, all over the world. We went to Bali, we went to Hawaii, we went to, and then we decided to focus on Central America because it was close to the U.S. and easy to get to. But we had to find one of the countries that had a stable government that we felt good about. And we also wanted to find a place that was inexpensive but had opportunity to develop, that it wasn't all built out. And that we wanted a place where the people were friendly, where families were still revered, and, it was a small town feel, and it was easy to make friends. So when we went traveling all around different countries in Central America, Mexico, Belize, Costa Rica, we finally went to Panama after reading a classified ad and found the perfect place. It was small enough, it was warm enough, it was friendly enough, it was inexpensive enough, and I ended up buying land here 22 years ago.
Wow.
I didn't do anything with it at first because I still had all my whole life in the States, My kids were grown, but my mom was still alive, and my sister and I took care of my mom for many years before she passed away. But after all of that happened and I was free, then I made a choice with my new husband at the time to move to Panama. And we did move here and build a house over the sea, which we live in now. And there's a lot more to that story. There's a lot of pieces and parts to it, but that's kind of the short version. And I was able to do it because I believed, like we were talking about in the laws of attraction in the universe, that you can set an intention and stay positive with it and make an action plan, follow the action plan, and that you can get to your dream. Well, that was my dream. And I surpassed my own expectations. I not only got this house built over the sea, but we did it with cash, debt free. We were debt free.
That's what I'm saying. Wow. That's
the power of setting an intention.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
Write it down.
Very powerful.
Right. And follow through. And you followed through with it, Annie Michelle. You didn't let, I know along the way as a journey that we all go through, there's going to be things happen, but you didn't let that stop you. You kept going. That's like, okay.
I had setbacks. I was going to, I wanted to do it at 55. And that was in 2008. And in 2008, we had a huge real estate crash, and it took a lot of my equity and savings away and set me back, unable to do it for a few more years. But we just didn't give up the dream, kept moving, and eventually still accomplished the same thing.
Yes. Wonderful. I love it. I love these stories because as I tell people, listen to these stories because it gives them people hope. If they have something to say and say, you know what, you can do this. Just keep going. That's the biggest thing is just keep moving forward towards it. Yeah.
And it's nice to have help, with people like us who help people along in their journeys.
Yes, definitely.
And so a shameless plug here. If you are in a whatever that you are struggling a little bit, then reach out to one of us. Reach out to Anne Michelle. I mean, just if you want to live in a country where let's talk honestly here. Your retirement savings from the U.S. government can fund you in one of the foreign countries.
And you can live for half the price. You can retire with half the amount of money.
Half the income.
And with a maid and a gardener.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. You're talking about you telling people out there, reach out to us. I think I need to reach out to Annie Michelle myself.
Not everybody wants to move outside the country, and Panama isn't the only place. There's other. You can go to various places in Europe, but that's one of the reasons I subscribed to International Living was that they target emerging markets all over the world. So if somebody would rather have a European culture, they could move to Portugal, for example.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of things. And, I don't think that Panama or Bocas del Toro is for everybody, but it is for some people. And that's not really what I do is direct people here to Panama, but what I direct them is inside to find out what their dream is and help them accomplish that, whatever it is.
Yeah. Yeah, because I've been telling, I think I told Barbara a few times that eventually, and it's going to happen because I'm believing it, like you said, the intention that I want to move to Canada eventually. I basically want to move out to the United States. And that's what I've been thinking of for a long time. Yeah. But like you said, if you put the intention there and you start making those moves and the ideas to get to that point, I mean, the steps basically, you eventually get there. Yeah.
Let's say with me, my thing is I want to live 2 months in the mountains, 2 months at the beach, and 2 months in the desert, and the rest of the time just travel around.
Yeah, I totally understand that. That was one of my, we have in Panama, we have mountains and ocean. So for 10 years, I had a house in the mountains and a house on the ocean, but decided that I really loved the ocean more and sold the house up in the mountains in 2010. But
oh, that's it. I mean, just believe you wake up and you just see the ocean. That's beautiful. I mean, I'm just imagining. Now that's a good, that rises my, like you said,
raises your vibration. It raises mine too. Every morning, the first one. Well, after I meditate, I walk out onto my deck and I look at my incredible view of the ocean, the Caribbean Ocean, where it's that blue water and the sky. It can be rainy, it can be sunny. It doesn't matter. It's 75, 80 degrees and beautiful, and it's inspiring.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. So
and there it is. And so one of my things is that sit down, like one of the things I do in the mornings is I sit down and what inspired action do I need to take today to move me towards that goal of 2 months, 2 months, 2 months.
Staying focused. What is the goal? How am I going to get there?
What am I going to do today to move that forward?
Yeah. Well, I know moving forward, unfortunately, our time has moved forward. We have to. This wonderful queen that we've been talking to, Annie Michelle, please reach out to her. And you see the expertise she has. She's just a wonderful individual. She'll help you, especially if, in your 50s and over, like you said, that retirement thing and trying to figure out what to do. She is there for you. I have her. She just do a free consultation. And I have it on here on the bottom here, just scrolling down. And Annie Michelle, we really appreciate you so much because, like you said, we're global with you. And I know it's a whole different time. I don't know what the time zone is out there, but
we're in Eastern time.
Oh, you're Eastern. Okay, it's not that bad. Okay, I was thinking, like in India and stuff, it's like 7 whatever hours. But yours is just an hour. Okay, that's cool. Okay, but yeah, just reach out. We appreciate you being on the show, and we always invite you back. If you want to come back, we are. This is like home now for you. Just let you know.
Oh, well, thank you. This has been fun. So thank you for inviting me, and I appreciate you ladies and talking to everyone.
Yeah, and we will see everybody next Tuesday, same time, same channel. Time to Shine, Happiness Show with myself, the BBs, and another wonderful guest. We'll take care, and happy Thanksgiving to everybody.
Happy Thanksgiving. So just be grateful today. Be grateful for all the things that are in your life.
Yes.
Bye. Yes. Bye.